We welcome you to another live edition of the Sports Box, brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And by our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and check them out at www.crowdplayapp.com for details. Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cage by IQ. I am your host, D-Bake. Joining with me today is current BKFC champion and boxing legend, Dat Nguyen. How's it going, Dat?
Awesome, Daniel. Thank you for having me here. It's my great pleasure. I love doing stuff like this, and I let the world know what is up with me.
Exactly. As you guys know, a few weeks ago, he dethroned former champion Johnny Bedford on BKFC Mania. How did it feel to pick up that victory?
I mean, it was a great honor. You know, I mean, it feels so good. I mean, I always know that I was gonna be a world champion, but I never got the opportunity. So now that I am a world champion, I get to earn the respect from the people who always hear me said, "Oh yeah, this guy's all this time he's been talking, he'll be world champion. Now he's actually a world champion." So it's actually mean a lot for me, and that I'm actually holding the belt. You know, because like I said, I always believe.
Oh, definitely. But I wanted to get started with the questions. Just to start from the beginning, how was life growing up between two countries? I know you didn't start out over here, but then I think it said that when you were 7 or 8, you moved to Hawaii.
Yes. You know, like I said, I grew up. I was born in Vietnam. You know, my family, my mom and her 5 children came to America. You know, we went on a special visa where because my mom was associated with the American during the Vietnam War. So in 1990 or something, they passed a law where my mom could bring her kids to America to have a new future. And my mom took the opportunity, you know, because you know, in Vietnam we were poor, we were struggling. So when we came to America, it was a dream come true. And my mom always said, "Look, we come to America. I want you to be the best you could be, and make the best you could be, and make me proud." So that's what I did. I always strive for that.
How's the age gap between all the siblings?
See, I'm the second to the youngest, so you know, we came to America not even speak one word of English. You know, when I was in Vietnam, I never went to school, so I was 8 years old. I live in the countryside. So when we came to America, all my brothers, they had to start school, you know, not knowing English, so it was a struggle for them. I have 3 older brothers, 1 older sister, and then me, and then my younger sister. So me and my younger sister, I started school in 3rd grade or something like that. The first year, like I said, I think I must have got held back 1 year or something. I don't know, because I just didn't speak English, and everybody was talking English in class, and I didn't know anything, you know. But the second year, I caught on a little bit, 3rd, 4th, and I excelled. You know, once I caught on to the English language, I got really good at it. And you know, anytime I get stuck with a problem in school, nobody could help me at home because nobody speak English.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I assume it was a culture shock that you just had to like kind of get used to over time once you learn the language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
like I said,
yeah, no,
yeah,
no,
I mean, yeah, I grew up in Hawaii. You know, when I first came to Hawaii, you know, because Hawaii has a huge population of Asian, so I fit right in. But you know, it's just that I didn't speak English very well, so they would just consider me a foreigner. But once I started to catch up with the language and speak a logo, everybody loves me there because that's the Hawaiian spirit, you know, the aloha. So you know, I'm considered one of the Hawaiians, you know. So you know, I'm a U.S. citizen now, and America is my home. You know, even though I was born in Vietnam, maybe I'll go back and visit, but you know, America is my home, and my children are American citizens too.
maybe that made it a little bit easier, like you said, because you went to Hawaii where they had the population there. There's more Asians over there, Asians,
Right.
Hawaiians, Samoans. So it's a little bit easier for you to get used to everything before like you
Ye-
came to the main line and then
right.
saw everything here.
I grew up on Maui, so it's a small island and that has a total population of 150,000 people, and everybody know everybody there. So I grew up there, and I'm doing some crazy thing here. I'm doing fighting bare knuckles. Everybody back on the island are cheering for me. I'm doing something unique and making the island proud. So I'm excited, and I like I said, I'm excited to represent them. Everybody from Maui, and that's why I said I always let people know where I came from.
When did you start boxing, and then who instilled the working mentality into you?
I was in middle school. I was in middle school. I was like a pretty kid that take nothing from nobody. I mean, anybody want to bully me, I would stand up for me because that's the thing about Hawaii. There's a lot of bullies and stuff like that. You grew up with guys fighting bare fists only, street fights. Street fight is huge in Hawaii. That's why there's always a UFC champion from Hawaii for that reason. Because how Hawaiian people, they love fighting. You know what I mean? And especially they don't carry guns there, so they play everything with fists. A lot has changed over the year, but um, I grew up in middle school. I learned Kampo karate. My brother was the IKF world Hawaii state champion, and
Ooh.
I wanted to learn martial arts. So he's a kickboxer. He fought on. So I follow his footsteps. When he go to the gym, I would tag along. He wouldn't like taking me along with him. So I like, no, I want to go, and I would sneak behind, ride the bike, and then the coach Jeff McKee is one of the coach. My first coach, Jeff McKee. He's a 6th-degree black belt. He did martial arts since he's 5 years old. Very well known martial artist in Hawaii. And so that was one of my mentors. He taught me everything and kind of shaped me into the person I am today. So I started Kempo karate, kickboxing, and boxing.
Something cool that I read that you studied CIS in school when you went to what was it, Michigan? Was it Michigan
Yeah,
or?
yeah, Northern Michigan University, Marquette. I think one of the CEO, I think one of the founder from, I think Starbucks. I think he graduated there. He's one of the alumni, I think. But yeah, the Marquette, Michigan is up in the Upper Peninsula. They host one of the three Olympics ground for the Olympics. So, Roman wrestler, boxers, and speed skater. That's where they train for the Olympics, and at the same time they can have their education there at the university on campus, and they have the facility there for the Olympic athlete. And that's where I based out after high school. I took the scholarship, and I was there. I was taking CIS, computer information system. I was always a technology guy. I grew up
Okay.
I grew up in high school. I basically major in networking. So I networked the whole high school with fiber optic in 1999. Fiber optic was new then. My teacher is Mr. I can't remember. It's been so long, but he's very smart, Japanese computer science major, and I learned a lot about technology through him. I was using Google back in 99, 98. Before they even went public. So I told everybody, look, we gotta buy Google when they go public. Look at Google today, one of the biggest company out there, right? Company.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your time there learning, or was it just because you're like training there at the same time that you're just like, okay, I'll do this?
The whole school. You see, the thing about Marquette is right up in near Canada, and I'm from Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
And the weather different. During the winter, right? There's a lot of snow up there. And I grew up in Hawaii. I never get to see snow. So all of a sudden, a guy from Hawaii going all the way up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, it was it was like a temperature shock for me. But I love the snow. I love the snow for the few months, and then it got really cold. It got really cold, and you gotta stay indoor, and snow's up 6 foot high, and they gotta plow the roads. And me as a boxer, Olympic athlete, we will wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the morning. We do our run. We do our 5 miles run. One of my teammates is Timothy Bradley. He fought Pacquiao 3 times. He's a
Yes.
commentator. Yeah, Timothy Bradley is a commentator on ESPN. So he was my teammate. He was actually my sweet
Ooh.
mate. So me and him will always race to see who's the fastest for every morning. Like we will run 3 times a week. I think it was like 3 times a week. We gotta wake up, or 4 times, And 5:30 in the morning, the coach would wake all of us up and say, "Look, we got to do a run." I mean, everybody put the two suits on. We will run 5 miles, and then the coach would pick us up with the van. And me and Bradley are always first and second because he's a good runner and I'm a good runner too. I run marathon. I was one of the fastest runner in my my school. For intermediate school when I was competing in track and field.
Yeah, how's being trained by Buddy McGurk, and what skills have you learned from him?
Like I said, Buddy is a great trainer. He's a great boxer. That's the thing about him. Me, I'm a brawler. You know what I mean? You're not gonna change me. I'm a brawler, and I like to go in there and take people's head out and fight them. But Buddy is a great boxing guy. He likes to hit and not get hit. He likes the finesse, the stick with jab, hit and move. So he taught me those things. He taught me how to be more elusive and use my skill and save my brain cell instead of trying to go in there and take everybody's head. Because when you're trying to force them to fight, they're gonna come back. They're gonna fight back. And you're gonna take a lot of damage. You're gonna be like Arturo Gotti. If you look at Arturo Gotti,
Yeah.
Buddy McGirt made Arturo Gotti into more of a boxer because Gotti wants to go to war with everybody, and that's the type of fighter I am. When I spoke with Arturo Gotti, Arturo Gotti was trying to take my head off, and I was over there. I'm not going nowhere, so I was throwing back at Gotti. So Gotti was like, "Man, this kid, he's gonna be good." And like I said, that was my first time sparring a very well-known champion, and that's when Buddy actually took a look at me again. Buddy's like, "Man, this kid got some talent." I sparred with Arturo Gotti. He was very well known at that time, at 2006 and 5. And like I said, for me to spar with somebody such a legend like that, it actually built me into a better fighter today.
How does it feel to be a pioneer for Vietnamese American boxing?
That was that's why it made me strive so hard because I'm opening a lot of doors and letting people recognize those things that Asian fighter Vietnamese fighter could be just as good. It's just that they need the opportunity. So like I said, you need to get good trainer. I mean, if you don't have good trainer, you can't self train yourself. Or you have to read. You have to be developed. Like I said, I was lucky to had a lot of good mentor and trainer in my career. My first coach was a 6-degree black belt. He started training martial arts at 5 years old. So he was very he's a master in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and karate. You know what I mean? And then I did 4 years of varsity wrestling, so I learned a lot about that. I had some really good coaches that were ranked in elite in their prime, and they taught me a few moves here and there. And then I get to learn with El Mitchell. El Mitchell was a 2-time Olympic head coach. He had Brian Valora. He had a couple of world champion under him. He even had Vernon Forrest. He actually made Vernon Forrest. He took Vernon from a young kid. To the person he is. Went to and then also the guy that won the Olympic gold medal, David Reed. He beat the Cuban in the Olympics. So he actually made David Reed too by winning the gold medal against the Cuban and won the gold medal.
Now, what led you to transition from boxing to bare knuckle fighting championship? And then do you plan on doing both, or are you just going to do bare knuckle right now?
Like I said, I think David, the promoter, of course, I want to be in bare knuckle because the brand is so new and I love bare knuckle. I want to be here. I want to be the face of bare knuckle. And then, if the opportunity ever comes, to do a cross promotion with David's permission, I would love to do boxing again against one of the champions, or maybe with the UFC. But at this moment, I'm not big enough to do those things yet. So I'm going to stay here as long as David wants me to and sign a multi-fight contract. And then, like I said, win all the belts here and build the brand. Like I said, bare knuckle is a new sport. And I think bare knuckle it's going to be more of my sport because I'm the type that likes to fight. Is more of a real fighter. Like boxing is more of a sweet science where you hit and not get hit. And MMA is a full aspect of combat sports. And like I said, I had to combine those skills that I learned in the past to be a great martial artist. But bare knuckle is a pure gentleman sports that has been around for 140 years. It was more than that, since the 1800. They never had gloves. The glove is there to protect the fighter, no, to protect the opponent. You know what I mean? Not to protect, not to no. I mean the glove is to protect the hands, not the opponent. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is a question I usually ask everybody that I interview. What are some of your hobbies that you like to do outside of training and fighting?
A lot of people said Asian people love gambling. So I don't like to gamble. I mean, I gamble once in a while, but like I said, I love to play poker. Poker, because if poker is like a boxing. It's like a boxing match. It's like a match, right? You make one mistake, and it's a very intelligent game. It requires a lot of IQ and mathematics and probability and statistics. So I love
Yeah.
playing poker on my spare time. Maybe one day I'll play in the World Series of Poker. I won a couple of small tournaments, but like I said, you can't do too many things. Maybe when I retire and I'll play some poker just for fun, because it's a socialized game. But I love to go fishing. I love to do anything active and travel. So maybe that's something I would do when I'm retired, because I don't like staying at one place. Like I said, I built this restaurant here, but and then I did boxing. I ran a boxing gym for 10 years. I own it and train people. Like I said, it's in the part of my career where I like to experience a lot of different things. I built this restaurant from scratch. I went to all the codings and everything, so I learned a lot. But now I already accomplished that. I already accomplished running a gym for 10 years. I accomplished running a restaurant and building it from the scratch up. So my next journey is to maybe, like I said, I have a multi-billion-dollar idea. It's like I said, I'm a technology guy. I'm talking to a friend right now that we probably gonna build this multi-billion-dollar idea. It's basically gonna do with the future, because you got to be able to foresee the future, and the future is everything is going to be digital, right? And then
Yes.
digital and cryptocurrency. So you have to be able to incorporate those things together. So that's my idea. My idea is to be able to merge those things in. Like I said, it's easier to say than do. You know what I mean? You have to put a lot of time and effort into it. Right now, my main focus is combat sports. I don't want to branch that focus out yet.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a video on I believe it was Instagram of you training somebody outside of your restaurant. Is that something you do often now? Because
Uh,
I know you mentioned that you do a lot of your training at the restaurant now.
Well, since like I said, I have my gym here too. But like, so I like right now the weather is so nice. Why stay indoor? Go outside. Get the fresh air. I have a big park here in front of my restaurant. So I that kid actually, he came all the way from Portland, Oregon. He came down here. So he said, could he have a session with me? How can I turn him down, right? He drove 2 hours from Fort Lauderdale, came all from Portland, Oregon here to sit and have a training session with me. So I said yes. I love to do that, and host some pageants. So it was a fun time. So once in a while I'll go live on that. I have a few students that I train that are like looking up to me. So I train them when I have the time. But right now, I have to make time for those things. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your training schedule like?
Like I said, I usually don't even train because I've been doing this for so long that I want to preserve my body, right? Your body, I mean, like I said, if I was training every day, but I don't train very hard, like I said, I have to be motivated. Like right now that I'm a world champion, I'm more motivated. I want to keep myself in tip-top shape, but you can't keep yourself in tip-top shape all the time. So, you want to be able to hit the bag. So I have my gym here in my restaurant. I can show you right now. Let me see if I can show you guys. You guys want to see?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you my gym here. Let me see if I can flip this camera around. I don't know if I can or not. But, yeah, see, my gym is right here. I built this gym out there. And here I
Oh,
had
nice.
I had another gym that was there for 10 years, and I just gave it away to my friend, so that way I can just focus on this gym, focus on my restaurant, focus on my little gym here, and focus on me being a world champion. You know, and that's the thing. When you run multiple business, that business is in your mind all the time. People don't realize that. When you run a
Yes.
business, you don't forget about that business when you go home. You know what I mean? You sleep and think about that. So like I said, there's one last thing on my mind now that I only have one more business to run, and then I focus on my career. Um, because like I said, you cannot branch your focus on many things, and that's what I did too many times. I branched my focus on too many things. Right now, my mind are like blown everywhere because I want to do this app idea, and then doing other things in life.
One question I had for you. I'm a big Mortal Kombat guy. Whose idea was it for you to come out dressed up as Raiden?
Actually, it was me. It was me. And my wife kind of like made it better. My wife, she came in with the last one. The first one, I was like, you know what? Uh, I'm gonna come out with Mortal Kombat because I was like, actually, a lot of people don't know I'm Vietnamese, and people said, why don't you carry the Vietnamese flag? Vietnam is very controversial when you talk about politics, right?
Yeah.
People said, why don't you carry the Vietnamese flag? And I said, which flag should I carry? There's two flags. Can I carry the North flag, which is the United? Well, basically, the Vietnam is united now, and or you can carry the South flag that no longer exists. So that's talking about politics. People don't like to talk about politics, and they get very sensitive. So because my mom's side are from the South, and everybody that comes to America are from the South, which is the American side, right? And for me to carry that flag, which is the flag that no longer exists, but then it just create a lot of division, among Vietnamese, because Vietnam is united now. There's 110 million Vietnamese in Vietnam, and when I carry that flag, they just censor me out. They censor me out. All right, that's like communist country. They censor Trump out. You know what I mean? But they so what I said, I'm not gonna carry any flag anymore because when you carry those flags, it censor me out, and there's a lot of politics involved. So I want to represent Vietnam. People say you want to represent Vietnam, wear that hat, that rice hat. And when I
Yeah.
wear that rice hat, then I became Raiden. Right?
It's kind of perfect timing because you got the movie that's coming out in a week
Right.
or two on HBO Max. So
Yeah.
it was kind of perfect timing.
I need to contact Mortal Kombat and let them be my sponsor. You know what I mean? Because I think they are. I was talking to Andrew from First Round Management. They are a
Yeah.
management company based in they have Paige Van Zandt, they have June Jones, and they have Masvidal. They manage Masvidal, and I think Andrew said something about Mortal Kombat. The people that's connected with Mortal Kombat wanted one of the fighters that First Round managed to come out as Mortal Kombat, and I actually came out with it as Raiden. So hopefully they can be one of my sponsor, right? Have Mortal Kombat to sponsor me. That'd be huge. And at the same time, I'm gonna probably I have the contract from First Round Management. I just gotta sign my name and they be my manager.
Oh, that's cool. Now, how does it feel fighting for BKFC? How has your time been with the company? I recently just interviewed Chris Lieben, who was on the same card as you a few weeks ago, and he was just raving about how he liked BKFC.
Yeah, BKFC is gonna go huge because the fight, the action is unbelievable, and and the crowd loves action. You know what I mean? That's what entertainment and combat sports should be about. I think Chris Lubin and me were on the same card, and when I call out Troy Beltran, he must think I'm crazy. So yeah, but he said he's retired, so he's a great fighter. He's a
Yeah.
legend. So yeah.
Now, what's next for you? Do you have a fight book? Because I know when you were getting interviewed after during the post fight press, that other fighter came out and was like, "You
Yeah.
don't want me fight me." But then I saw the Instagram talk between you and what's his name, Baboon, I believe his last name.
Yeah. Louis Baboon. Louis Baboon.
Yes.
Well, Reggie Burnett been trying to fight me forever. That guy, uh, he's been um, he's been trying to fight me. He like I said, but um, because he knows that I was gonna be a champion. Because when I fought in BKFC 8 against Travis Thompson, he went into the locker room and looking for me. He came looking, trying to take a picture of me. I'm like, this guy, who is this guy? So the whole time he already looking to fight me when I joined BKFC. from day one. So he took a picture and posed, yeah, this is gonna be my future opponent, etc., etc. And this dude has been trying to fight me forever, and he sees that I went into bare knuckle and become a world champion, so that pisses him off, because he's been in it from day one. But like I said, I don't have anything against him, but he's been talking a lot of shit, and a lot of things that was untrue. Saying that I said a lot of bad things about his family. He's just blowing smoke. I already know I beat him, so it's not even a challenge to fight him. Johnny Bedford beat the crap out of him, and he ran. So I mean, I've stayed toe to toe with Johnny Bedford. Johnny Bedford surprised me that he could withstand my power, and handle. So I give Johnny Bedford a lot of respect. But if I fight Johnny Bedford again, I already have him solved. You know what that means? I know exactly how he fight. It's just me improving a little bit more. I would destroy him. But anyway, I'm looking for bigger fights instead of fighting guys that I know I can beat. I want to challenge myself. It's gonna motivate me. You know what I mean? If I fight somebody that I know I can beat, it doesn't motivate me to train hard. I'm the type of guy like that. I look at my opponent. I'm like, man, this guy. Like when I fought Johnny Bedford, I knew he was tough, but I know I was gonna beat him. You know what I mean? So it didn't push me as much if I was to fight Palomino. Palomino is a good fighter. I fight Palomino, I make sure I'm at 100%, not 80%. You know what I mean? Palomino is a bigger guy and he can fight. So if I'm at 100%, I believe I will crush him.
Yeah. Do you think there was any bit chance that Bedford was kind of a little bit tuned out because he already had it on his mind that he was moving up to 145?
Like I said, a lot of things going on in bare knuckle right now that like it's such a new sport. Bedford canceled the first fight. He canceled. He didn't hurt himself. He wanted a long training camp. He trained for like 2.5 months. I trained for 4 weeks by myself. He trained 2.5 months. If you look at the interview, he wanted more time to train for me. That's why he said he hurt his back.
Yeah.
Whatever. He said he was in the best shape of his life, best shape in his life. I'm pretty sure he is. He did. That's why he's able to withstand my power and came really strong in the end. Like I said, he was at the best he could be, and he couldn't even beat me, and I wasn't even at my best. So, like I said, Johnny didn't underestimate me. He knew I was going to be a tough fighter, but Johnny wanted to be the GOAT in bare knuckle. So, I respect that from that man. He believed in himself, and that's the same way I believe in myself. But like I said, I went in there and I had this skill to prove it.
Now, how do you feel about Shaq being part of bare knuckle? Do you think it's a good partnership?
Shaq is a smart guy. Shaq is very smart. He knows what's going to be big, and he knows he's going to make a lot of money out of it. So if you put in $10 million into bare knuckle right now, and that's going to give you that 10 million is going to be $500 million in the near future. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the UFC today. The UFC is worth $7 billion. You know what I mean? The Ferrera bought it for $1.9 million. That's like 7,000 4,000% return. That's like buying cryptocurrency. You know what I mean? That's what I did. I bought. Well, I don't want to say it on here, but you know what I mean. I bought cryptocurrency, and it gives you like 3,000% in like 5 months. Where can you get that kind of return? That's what's going on with the market today. And Shaq is a smart guy.
Oh yeah. I've seen him invest in a bunch of things from what was it? I think it was Papa John's to gaming. He was part of that. Like the gaming world, he's invested in that. He's invested in a lot of things. And usually, a lot of times, whatever he touches turns to gold. So that's a good thing for BKFC. But one of my last questions I have, I don't want to waste too much of your time. What are your aspirations moving forward? Like, do you have any aspirations of doing like Bellator or UFC or anything else?
Before I went in with bare knuckle, I actually reached out to the UFC and Bellator and won championship because I always wanted to do mixed martial art. Because I believe that like I said, Bruce Lee kind of invented mixed martial art. So I grew up idolizing Bruce Lee. and Bruce Lee learned boxing. He's a martial artist, and I wanted to do those things to prove to people that I could do those things. So maybe in the future, not too long, when I can accomplish all my goal in bare knuckle and be winning multiple belts, then I would love to do things in MMA. Like I said, the UFC is the biggest company out there. Of course, I want to go with the UFC because they're gonna pay me the most. But if one championship is gonna give me a great offer that I can't turn down, I would love to go or even Bellator. But I don't want to upset David because every time I talk about fighting MMA, a lot of people are upset in BKFC that saying why am I trying to go to another company when I'm working for BKFC? So I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay here as long as they want me to,
Yeah.
and I'll be like McGregor. We built a brand, but we're gonna talk a little trash to other combat sports. So if Conor McGregor want to come to bare knuckle, he can taste those hands. You know what I mean? So that's the goal. That's the dream goal.
I was just going to ask you if you had a dream opponent that you wanted to fight, and that you saying that would be perfect because like I'm a big fan of you, I'm a big fan of him, and then you guys both can talk, and then you build a perfect fight with that. I think you guys would sell a lot, so I'm hoping to see that.
Right, we can market like Chuck Norris as Conor McGregor and I'm Bruce Lee. You know what I mean? Like I said, it will be a great fight because it only has to do with hand. Like I said, Conor McGregor is a great martial artist, but he's a striker. I mean, he learns his striking from boxing. I mean, he was an amateur boxer. So when you look at him, he does everything through boxing technique. So when he counter with his left because he's a southpaw. That's what he does. He stop everything behind that jab. Find that range. Because he's so long, and then he counters you. Once you get in that range, he pull back a little bit, and he counter you with the left hand. So I already see exactly what he can do. The thing about when you fight certain fighters, you got to be able to read them. You got to be able to see exactly their moves. You got to have them figure out. You don't go in there blind, And that's the thing about me. Me being a boxing trainer for 10 years taught me how to do those things, how to figure my opponent out so I can see their flaws and how to capitalize on it. And that's what you got to do as a fighter. A lot of fighters go in there and they have a trainer, and the trainer is going to be like, this is how you're going to fight. This is how you're going to beat your opponent. I don't do that. I don't have a trainer. So I have to figure my opponent out. I look at my opponent's video and I said how I'm gonna beat him, and that's what I did. When I look at Johnny Bedford don't like going backwards, and I was right in front of him. That's how I beat him. But if I would have run with Johnny Bedford, he might have more success with me. You know what I mean? And like I said, style makes fight, and you gotta bring a certain style to a certain fighter, and you gotta learn how to be multi-dimensional. And that's the fighter that I am. I'm multi-dimensional.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think what McGregor used to do was he got in your head. He's able to talk. Like he was using the mind games before he was even getting into the octagon. And I think one of the things that killed him in the last few years was him doing too much other things. Like you just said, you kind of brought the boxing to your restaurant. You got the training area right there in the back. Where like if you're there thinking too many things, you're already there. You can kind of do both things in one area. He's kind of stretching himself thin with the proper number 12, doing this promotion. I feel like he's not putting all that much into the training. I thought his best training was when he was in Ireland, when he was fully focused. Where now he's training in Vegas, and his head's not fully there. In my opinion,
I saw that money makes you weak. Money makes you weak, and when you have all this wealth and money, I mean, what is another need? You mean the reason why most fighters fight is because they want to make that big money. When they make that big money, what is next for them? So, is it a legacy? I think McGregor is fighting for his legacy now. So how much does he want to keep his legacy? So he has all the money to retire comfortably for the rest of his life. Same thing like Manny Pacquiao, same thing like Mayweather. But they always want more money. It depends on their lifestyle, how flourished they live. You're gonna buy a yacht, you're gonna buy a mansion, then you're gonna blow all of it if you don't continue to make that money. So you gotta live modest. But me, I never made the big money. I'm humble. I don't go around flashing money. I don't even have money. So that's the key. If you just stay humble and, like I said, be generous and help other people. And I think those guys are doing that, and Conor is doing that. So he's a great champion.
Yeah, like I know it's a team sport, but you see that from Tom Brady, where he always takes those pay cuts every year because, granted, I know he's making all that money in sponsorship and all that, but he always takes a pay cut because he has that winning mentality. He wants to win, and he
Right.
knows in that sport that he needs to take a pay cut so they can afford to keep people. So he's like, I'll take less money because I drive for winning instead of the money. The money's second
Right.
to me.
Right.
And
Well, when you have $100 million, why is it not a 5 million, 10 million to you? I mean, unless you are money hungry like certain people that they only can make money. I know certain people that they have to make money every day. If they don't make money, they can't live. And I'm not that type of people. And like I said, Tom Brady is not that type of people. When you make $100 million, you want to continue to help people that is unfortunate, and that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? He wants to play a team sport, especially when you're playing a team sport. You gotta play as a team. It takes a team to win a game. That's why I don't play team sports, because I need a good team to win. You know what I mean? If I don't have my supporting player to I'm not gonna win. So that's why I did individual sports. I did wrestling, I did combat, I did kickboxing, all individual. So it depends on me to win.
now, right before we wrap this up, what is the name of your restaurant, so people know what it is, so they can come by and check it out?
Yeah, it's Miss Saigon Restaurant. I like I said, my since my last fight, I had COVID, and then my wife got into an accident, so we haven't been open for since my last fight. So hopefully everything gets back to normal, in the near future, so we can get the restaurant open up again. But at the moment, it's not open right now because my wife is still recovering from her accident
Yeah.
there. But it's Miss Saigon Restaurant located in Vero Beach. We're the only Vietnamese restaurant that is like home style. My wife does all the cooking,
Oh,
and then
nice.
I do all the things that I help her with. Wherever she needs, drive around for grocery, doing some deliveries, whatever. I help her. You know what I mean? And I just focus on my career now, because that's one less thing for me to worry about running the gym. So I want to focus on me being a fighter now, because that's what I did for 10 years to keep me in the sport. That when you run a gym, it keeps you active, and
Yeah.
it gives you the knowledge, and that's what I did. And now I got rid of it, so now I can focus on my career.
Well, I would like to thank you so much for doing this interview with me. It was a pleasure talking to you. I want to wish you the best of luck with the rest of your career with BKFC. I'm a big fan of yours. I hope you get to win a couple more championships. Like you said, you want to become a triple champion, if I
Right.
recall. And then I hope in the future I get to see Dat Nguyen versus Conor McGregor.
Man, that would be an awesome fight, because I think Connor, or like I said, Connor said a lot of things and he accomplished it. So I said a lot of things, so it's only a matter of time, and you gotta keep believing, and that's the thing. I don't doubt it at any moment, and it's just a matter of time. That's it. And thank you so much, Daniel, for your time,
Yeah.
and it's always a great pleasure doing podcasts. I love those. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. You have a nice rest of your night.
Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you. Hey, thank you everybody for watching, guys. Thank you very much. I love you guys all.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
I would like to thank Dat Nguyen for coming on the podcast. He is the BKFC champion. Like I said before, he just defeated Johnny Bedford at BKFC Mania a few weeks ago. It was a pleasure to talk to him. This is Cage My IQ. You can find us on all of our social media platforms, on Twitter at Cage IQ, on Facebook at Cage My IQ SB, and then on Instagram at Cage My IQ. And then you can also find us live on Twitch on Monday nights at twitch.tv/Cage My IQ. And then you can support, if you can support our affiliates, the Sports Box, great sports podcast group with over 10, 20 different sports podcasts ranging from all sports. and mixed martial artist content. You can find them on Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, and on Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. And you can subscribe to their YouTube at The Sportsbox. And then don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page at Cage My IQ. We got 3-4 videos coming out weekly now, covering all platforms of MMA, from ONE to BKFC to UFC to Bellator. And we want to do that for you guys. We want to get all the content out. We want to preview and recap all the content. So subscribe to us, give us a like, and comment on our videos. And I'm your host, D-Bake, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for watching this episode of Cage My IQ on the Sportsbox. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, Twitter at Sportsbox Show, Instagram at The Sportsbox Show. Find us on YouTube and join Outside the Box, our Facebook sports discussion group. The Sports Box is brought to you by our sponsor, Showcase Sports in Hamilton. Showcase Sports for the elite athlete. And also our friends over at CrowdPlay. Download the free CrowdPlay app today and use promo code THEBOX at sign up for 10 free points. Thank you for joining us.